I'm Massimo Cecchini, Managing Director of the ARRI Lighting Solution, responsible for lighting project business. I would like to introduce, first of all, the new suspension system. As you know, ARRI, among the other activities, is one of the main leaders in the studio lighting project. And in order to continue the mission to be the source of all the customer needs about the studio project, we are introducing now the completely new suspension system, able to satisfy all the customer needs from the smaller to the big studios sites, other than for special application in the theaters, in the event, or whatever is required, a lighting suspension system. So the completely range is composed by pantographs, manual and motorized operation. With that products, we can satisfy all the needs for lifting capacity from 18 to 60 kilograms. It means that can be applied for small new studio up to the big production studio. And then we go to, okay, this is the characteristic, 40 kilos of load, and in the motorized version we can reach 60 kilos. All the pantographs are made in aluminum, so it means light self-weight and very easy to control and to install. And then we move to the motorized self-climbing hoist, which are the top standard in the market. So all of our products are designed according to the latest technology in the market and to comply with all the international safety regulation. We are now using the latest technology in the motor unit. We use the brushless technology. So the brushless motor can give us the possibilities to have a soft start and soft stop, so it means not peak in the movement. We can have the positioning control, memorize the control of our hoist, and then it can be very useful for the customer to recall the positioning of the suspensions according to the studio set. The self-climbing hoist can reach a lifting capacity from 100 to 300 kilos, so that can be useful for moving heads or the new lighting features, including daylight, etc. We have a travel net distance from the grid to the floor from 10 to 40 meters, so it means that we can install our suspensions in a quite big studio. The drop total is from 12 to 16 meters. So even in the case of a big production studio, we can satisfy the customer needs. All our products, as I said, are following the DIN regulation. And then the latest product we are introducing now at IBC is the new telescope. As you know, ARRI was offering the telescope system since year 70. And according to the long experience in that field, we are now proud to announce the new telescope, which uses, as I said, the brushless motor technology. And we have a lifting capacity for up to 60 kilos and a maximum drop up to 15 meters. This is really a very, very innovative product because other than with the telescope, we are able to offer the completely control system. And through the control system, we can have the data report from the telescopes to our control desk in order for the operator to continuously check the status of the suspension system situation. So with that product, ARRI wants to confirm once again his strong interest in developing his presence in the business, the lighting business, and we are always looking forward to find the best technology and the best solution in the market to continue to satisfy all of our customers' requests. Thank you.
Well, yes, we certainly thought a lot about that. The thing is, the market right now is very much in flux. It used to be that we had the film people, we then had video people, and they were very separate, separate areas with their own languages, their own cultures, their own history, and they're very separate products. Right now what's happening is these boundaries are breaking down, and quite frankly it's a big mess out there, and everybody's trying to figure out what to do, and I think to an extent the Alexa has brought some order back into that, because there's a very clear workflow, there's a very reliable product. We're thinking all the time about where it is going from now. However, because everything is so much in flux, I don't think anybody can predict what's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years, how the market is going to change. We're still working on these products. We're still selling them, in fact, and we still have people buying them. And in fact, we're focusing them more on the archive market now, because that's where most of the work now seems to be. But that is still going and still going well.
But I may comment on that. We are still exploring opportunities, and for us film is not dead. So we will see how long there is a creative preference for the one or the other medium. On the other hand side, obviously, digital intermediate is a worldwide standard, and due to the shift for digital acquisition, there is not a lot of excessive demand for DI equipment. But what Mark was mentioning, there is now the focus of looking after film libraries, not only restoration, but on also films which have been shot a couple of years back, and make them available in highest file-based quality. And there are tools like Redgate and all sorts where you reproduce the highest quality of a film which was posted traditionally or even in a DI facility. And also we are exploring since day one a technology which is very long-term archive of both analog but also digital data. But still I need to say, business-wise, we have not found the right model. Yeah, there is a necessity of long-term archive, especially in digital acquisition, and especially if the digital distribution becomes the standard, because there will not be any film out anymore, and then everybody knows what happens with digital media. But somebody needs to pay for that service.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, we have a 100mm master prime and a 150, and still about 2 years ago we had a lot of requests for 135. And in our discussions with cameramen and also photographers, we found that in order to take a portrait shot, you want to have a lens that's telephoto, so the background is out of focus, but you don't want it so much telephoto that everything becomes flat. And 135 seems to be the perfect sweet spot for that. And so in designing the master prime, this is not just another master prime in the series, but it's specifically designed for portrait photography. So for instance, it has a close focus ability. Rather than focusing at the customary 1.30 m that you would get for a 135 lens, it focuses at 0.9 meters. We took particular care to have a very flat, even field. So when you get these huge out-of-focus highlights, they have a very, very even field. Those are things that are not trivial to do. They're very, very tricky. But with this lens, we concentrated on that because we know that's going to be the application for that lens. Sure, I was afraid somebody would ask that question. To us, the most important thing is the overall image quality. And actually, before this show, we had a workshop with our salespeople, and they were asking similar questions. I was trying to talk about MTF and counting pixels and all that stuff, and at some point I realized that that doesn't really matter. What matters is when you shoot to something, and then you go with a DP and a color suite, and they start to manipulate the images. That's when you see if it's a good image with a lot of capabilities, or if it's what we used to call a thin negative. And the Alexa produces a very, very thick negative. Overall image quality is very important, and that's comprised of a number of parameters. There's exposure latitude, there is your colorimetry, there is your resolution, that's part of it, but it's not the all-encompassing one factor that you have to have. And so we feel that with the Alexa we have a very, very good mix of all these parameters that creates a really, really good image. for television, but also for the big screen, as can be seen with all these projects. I doubt Martin Scorsese would shoot with the Alexa if the resolution wasn't high enough for the big screen. Now that said, when we can create a camera with a 4K sensor that has the overall image quality of the Alexa, we will clearly do that, because that gives some more capability. But what we've seen so far is any of the cameras that have the higher Ks, they get disadvantages by having so many pixels. And until we can overcome that hurdle, we're going to stay with the Alexa at the current resolution.